What's up, everyone? Today is December the 6th, 2018. It is a Thursday, and we are in our daily stock market analysis. One of the things then, and one of the reasons why I started here on our futures is that you almost never see this. It's actually a pretty fascinating thing to look at. I have the minis for the S&P. I have mini Nasdaq, gold futures, Russell 2000 minis, and then the volatility minis, and you almost never see them all green at the same time. Typically, volatility is down if the S&P is up. Volatility is up if the S&P is down. Usually there's an inverse relationship between gold. There's some level of an inverse relationship between gold and equities. So just really interesting, worth taking a look at. Futures are up. Let's get into today. All right, what a fascinating day today was. Let's, as always, start in the S&P. One of the things that I have begun to do here is I actually went out to the weekly and I put in a bunch of areas, at least on the weekly chart, of potential support. I do think that we're eventually going to break through this little trend line and this general support area. I just think that that's likely going to happen. I'll show you why. So let's go to the 1 year daily. You can't really tell because this oval is a little higher than I'd like for it to be. I got to go back through and adjust that. But you have a lower high, and a slightly lower high right here. Particularly a lower high when you look at closing spot and not just as high as the security got during that day. And so I do think that we're going to continue to see a lower high. We also here in the S&P 500 have the very beginning of a death cross, 276.01. 275.95, so we are 6 cents away from a death cross, which I think will likely happen tomorrow. Just all depends there on exactly where things close, but we're 6 cents away and we're closing below these moving averages, so it gives me credence to believe, or validity to believe, that we are indeed going to see a death cross tomorrow to end the week. So let's instead, so we've looked at the 3 year weekly, the 1 year daily. Let's go to the 1 day, 1 minute. Okay, fascinating, as I said, fascinating day. So this is here in our daily. So you see, we go all the way down to 262. Okay, and then we rally, right? We crazy rally here from all the way from 262.44 to we closed right at the high of day at 269.97. So we almost gained $7.50 intraday, right? You go back to some of these other days, and we weren't seeing nowhere near that level of volatility in weeks, right? Or over the course of a week, and we saw that level of volatility really just destroy, both above, right? Because we got down from a crazy amount. So we closed it at 269.84 and we were still down 41 cents. We were at 270 yesterday. We went from 270 down to 262, all the way back up to basically 270 in the course of a day. Pretty volatile, right? This is the type of volatility, and it's why the VIX is up. This is exactly why the VIX is up, is because we are seeing pretty significant levels of volatility, and here it is on the daily, right? So all the way down here, just massive candle. We opened here, went all the way down here, and then closed, interestingly, right at the low of the day yesterday, or right thereabouts. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the S&P, the spiders. But certainly a very volatile, very interesting day. Okay, here we are in the VIX. We're still outside of this bubble, which continues to, or this rectangle, which continues to tell me that we are bearish in equities. And so I'm going to continue to be bearish in equities. I think it was Bank of America, BOA, actually just released one of their top trading ideas, and that's to go long VIX, VXX. I certainly don't prescribe to that type of trading. However, we have seen this 31 area has been a floor. It's been a triple bottom now, and we see a head and shoulders really beginning to appear on the chart. So we'll continue to see what happens. We're either going to break down, or I think we'll break out. One of those two will happen. Oh, let's go to the Nasdaq. What did we see in the Nasdaq? Really interesting day, actually. Let's bring that in. This is the weekly. So you'll also notice on the weekly here that I'm going to put in some major areas of support. You know, there's going to be a support right here, support right here, support right here. And I think as we just review what's going on with the market, those levels of support are going to be helpful. Let's adjust this to the daily. Okay, here we are in the daily. Again, one of the things that I've begun to do is to take a look at lower highs, right? So we have a high right here, lower high right here, lower high right here. We do have the official death cross right here, so the 50 has moved below the 200, which again is bearish for this particular security. And so we also closed right at, it was a bullish day, we were up $1, so almost 1%, which is pretty insane when you think about the fact that we were all the way down at 162, closed at 167, but we did close right here at the 9 EMA. Okay, so we'll see what happens with the 9 EMA. Even though we had a bearish day, if we close above this, I'll give the short term, very, very short term to the bulls. But until we get out of this pattern, right, until we get out of this pattern here, I'm not going to give the bulls a long-term area. So I'd want to see us break up over the 200 and close with authority over the 200. I'd like to see a move here and a golden cross here for us to consider the tech industry, Nasdaq bullish. And I'd also like to see us break over this other high. So I want to see us break over this, see the cross. I want to see this high get taken out, and then I also want to see this high get taken out. And then I might begin to change some level of my view, but I am still, at least in the medium term, bearish on the Nasdaq. Dow Jones Industrial Average. You'll also notice here that I have already put in these levels of support. I'll probably put another one right here, another one right here. But as you can see here, this is just really, really easy trend trading, right? Because I mean, what do you see here? You just see the entire market just ride on the weekly, this 9 EMA. I mean, that is easy trend trading right there. Okay, let's get into the daily here. So daily, you know, trading, if you were to have traded this on the daily, it certainly wouldn't have been as easy. Dow was down a 0.5%, basically. We see a green candle, but that's just because we opened higher right than where we closed. Interesting here, we challenged this low from a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago, the 23rd. It is a couple of weeks by now. We challenged there. We are getting closer to this death cross. We're still below the 9 EMA. While we were down and closed strong, I'm still going to, as of right now, give the bears the advantage here. Let's go into the IWM. We were down there as well. Here we are in the daily chart. Again, we are really solid in this bear, right, in this death cross. And I really think this 50 simple moving average is going to create some level of resistance. Certainly the 200 is going to be resistance for us. Let's get into the weekly here just to go ahead and show. And these are things that you can also do with your own charts and begin to notice patterns, begin to look at charts. You can see here we are indeed in a space where I think this is a bearish move for the Russell 2000. Okay, let's save this grid, make sure we have this saved, and then let's go ahead and go into our premium selling ETFs. This is SellThatOption. What do we have? TLT. We saw, I think TLT is worth taking a look at here. We see the massive move up a couple days ago, right? Big candle, and then I think the market rally, perhaps even some of these bond concerns back out. USO continues. We continue to struggle here in USO. We were down 2% today. But one of the things that I do think is worth mentioning is that we got challenged all the way down here to 1060. Okay, all the way down here to 1060, and then we still closed up above where we opened. These weren't particularly bullish candles. This is pretty bullish. I would say somewhat bullish. I wouldn't even say pretty bullish. This is somewhat bullish, not a bullish. So it's not surprising to see this. I'm going to continue to watch this whole moving average, right? You can see here sometimes it takes a little bit for the move to really get going. So I'm still paying attention to this whole moving average. I'd like to continue to see a move in the next couple of days up. In order to facilitate, perhaps a reversal. There's still a lot of geopolitical issues, and so we can't simply play the chart. There are some geopolitical issues. I do believe OPEC met today. We didn't really get a lot of information out of OPEC, but they did meet. As is to be imagined, all of our oil derivatives, XLE, XOP had a really rough day, down 3.18%. Really broke this trend right here. Was the dollar off of the low? OIH lost almost 5%, 84 cents. Again, though, well up off the low, but you see that nothing necessarily, from the short term, nothing necessarily changed too awful much here. At least from a chart perspective, we are still certainly bearish. Okay, anything else to note here? EFA, we had IYR take an interesting, incredibly bullish engulfing candle. So that is interesting. OIH, we already mentioned. GDX, FXE, EWZ, nothing necessarily out of the realm of what we would be interested to take. I do want to take a look at a couple of our tech industry. So one of the things you'll notice here, massive again volatility in Amazon, and this is why, right? So we were at the low of the day here, basically at 1600, and we closed 100 points up from the low ish at 1700, basically. So bullish day there. I don't think Apple have gotten long-term buyers here. I think that a lot of the news coming out, at least projections with the iPhone, isn't going to be great. We did come up off the low of the day, but you'll also notice right here that we are at this level of support. If 170 goes, right? If 170 goes, I'm not sure what the floor is there for Apple. Okay, and then we go here. Where is Facebook? Facebook had a really bullish day here. Gap down. Bullish up 1.5% or so. So there we are. Really fascinating day. We'll take another look at the futures here. Market Watch futures. Okay, so we can see that the S&P 500 minis are down. So that is interesting. Let's take a look at our major markets, major ETFs, IV percentile. OIH, not surprising, is pretty high there at 97.2%. XLE, XOP, all oil derivatives. UK with continued Brexit concerns. Russia, IWM, SLV, ONG, USO. So we do have a lot of commodities, right, in these first couple, whether that's, we have oil, nat gas, silver. We go ahead and skip 3 non-commodity, and then we got oil and gas there as well. So very interesting, just worth taking a look on. If you don't already have a setup like this, I certainly encourage you to take a setup like this into your own trading day in and day out. All right, well, we are already at about 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and pop off of here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at Ryan, RYN, @SellThatOption. Otherwise, as always, stay humble, stay hungry, and here's to our success.